Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we will be switching from the standard 3D renderer to the universal render pipeline. As Barack Obama once said, switch to the universal render pipeline, bruh. So let's get started. Okay, so in here, I have this useless scene right here with a plane, a car, and a ground plane here. Not this plane, but ground plane. So this is just the standard 3D project that comes with Unity, and I'm going to be showing how to convert this to a universal render pipeline project. Maybe you'll be like me and want to use shader graph, the PBR shader graph option. And speaking of shader graph, I would recommend you check my shader graph video on how to make a dissolve shader. So yeah, do check that. And now let's begin. So we're just going to go to Window, Package Manager, and when you open up the Package Manager, just type in Universal Render Pipeline, and this should pop up here. This is my latest version as of now, so just hit install, and we're going to let that install. Okay, so now once that's done installing, what you're going to do next is you're going to exit from here, obviously, and now here's some key features that you have to take note of. It has installed, the universal render pipeline has been installed, but there's some things that you have to do for you to be able to use post-processing and all that fancy stuff that comes with it. And so those things are going to be: one, you are going to have to go into your this assets folder here, then go and create. Under create, we are going to go down to rendering. Once you reach rendering, just go to render pipeline and then pipeline asset, then just click on this, and it's going to bring this option down here. I'll press enter, and it's going to create the pipeline assets that we will need. And now that has been created, what we're going to do is go into our edit here, edit tab, go into project settings, and under graphics here, you're going to click this little knob here, and then select our universal render pipeline. Now what has happened here, this is very ugly, and we can solve this ugliness by going down to our edit tab again, then down here where it says render pipeline, then go down to universal render pipeline and upgrade materials to universal render pipeline. So I'm just going to click that, yes, proceed, and now everything is using the universal render pipeline shader. So now you can see that the pipeline has been installed. But what if you don't believe me? Well, if you do not believe me, there's one way for me to prove that to you, and that's I'm just going to go here, create, and rename this to just post. I'll leave it as post. So I'm going to say add there, and I'm going to say volume. So I'll click on that volume there, and I'm going to say new post-processing profile, and that's going to create, and I'm going to add an override, and I'm going to say post-processing, and I'm going to say all, and I'm going to increase that intensity, and you can see that it's working. And yeah. Oh, which reminds me, so for this one, I don't think you will have to go into your camera and rendering and then enable post-processing, because with or without it in the camera enabled here in the camera, it's still going to work, looks like. But if you created this project using the universal render pipeline and not switching from the standard renderer to the universal render pipeline, you will have to enable this post-processing here. So yeah, that's that, and that's practically what I wanted to show you guys in this video. Still don't believe me? Okay, let's head back to our post-processing manager here, and I'm going to add bloom right here, and this bloom is you're going to see how much I'm going to add here. It's going to be a lot, so be warned. So there's your bloom, and that's working perfectly. So yeah, that's how you add post-processing to your scene after after creating the standard after changing from the standard renderer to the universe render pipeline. So yeah, that's how it's done. Oh, and one more thing that I almost forgot to cover is first let me just remove this bloom. It's starting to irritate me a little, so just reduce. Okay, 0. Let me just close this up. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to address is, let me just click on my plane right here, and I'm going to go down to its material here. So normally for most materials, they might not when you convert from you go down here and then you say you invest in the pipeline and then upgrade to project materials. Most materials will upgrade, but others might not, and you would have to change that manually here. And you maybe just have to go to invest in the pipeline and select that lit shader there. But again, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what happens with most of these options here, because you might select this manually and the shader will still remain the same. So that's an issue that I am not sure of. So yeah, that's another thing I didn't cover. So this looks like it's worked for me here. So okay, and yeah, that's what I need to talk about. And thanks for watching. At least now you know. And yeah, goodbye for now.